Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. Welcome to Weightlifting Talk. Live. Early morning show. I don't know if we're live yet, though. Let's see here. Anybody listening right now, please give me a text or a tweet or give us a call into the show right now just to let us know if we're live or not. I'm having a little bit of trouble this morning getting the show ready to go. I don't think we're on.
Why don't you try pushing cancel? See what that does.
I don't know.
Can you sign out of everything and sign back in?
No. It'll kick us off. I don't know why it's not dialing. Hold on now. Blog Talk Radio, into Skype. Never had this happen before. What the fuck? Here we are.
We're on the air.
We're on the air. It is working. Welcome to Weightlifting Talk, you sons of guns. Sorry about the delay. I think we're a little off our game right now because of the morning show. We got sleep in the eyes, and we're trying to figure out what the hell is in front of us with this complicated computer. But we figured it out. I got Miss Brown Eyes next to us, Coach Glenn Penley, John North, your host, here to talk weightlifting. Give us a call, 646-652-4173. Thanks for being with us today. Coach, how you doing?
Well, I don't have sleep in my eyes, John. It's 9 o'clock in the friggin' morning.
It is early, Coach. We are up before anybody else has ever been up.
John, like 5 o'clock in the morning is early. 9 o'clock's halfway to noon. I know you don't like to get out of bed until 3 minutes before you have to be 30 minutes across town, but some people actually do get up in the morning.
Well, it's very early, and thanks for tuning in on this new time. We'll be back to the usual time at 1 o'clock. After this show. It's my birthday. Yes, I hate to admit it. I'm getting old. My retirement party is getting closer, so Coach Mr. Blackbeard can't yell at me anymore, and I'll be set free from the weightlifting dungeon. But I had a cool Willie Nelson song, a little good morning song I had ready to go for the show, but since of the technical errors, we couldn't play it. Actually, Coach picked it out, so it wasn't probably good, I have to admit, because Coach doesn't have the best taste in music, my friends. What do you think about that, Coach? Was it a good song?
John, did you happen to see the thing I put up on Facebook last night?
No.
It said rap is like scissors.
Yeah,
because it always gets beat by rock.
I actually did see that.
There was another one I was going to put up, and it was of a package that was wrapped very, very badly. Somebody basically put it in a bag and just threw tape all over it. And then the caption said, "Still a better rapper than Lil Wayne."
Oh, that's not fair. I like Lil Wayne. Come on now.
You're ridiculous, John. I mean, even if for somebody that likes rap, they still wouldn't like Little Wayne. I mean,
Coach, when we play Little Wayne in the gym, I catch you at times tapping your finger to the desk.
No, you don't, John. No, you don't.
And singing along, rapping along.
No, John, that's never happened.
You wore a Little Wayne T-shirt to train.
No, that's also never happened.
You have a gold grill in your mouth.
No, that never happened either.
Coach, what happens if I got a gold grill and with Attitude Nation engraved on the top teeth and a Muscle Driver engraved on the bottom?
That would probably take the prize for the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
A lot of people don't know this, but I did have a grill in college.
John, those are the type of things you just don't tell people. You just don't say those things in public. I mean, that's for at home.
Yeah.
You know, in private, you could admit those things. Some things you just don't admit. You know?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, let me put it this way. I had a grill, and I'm going to admit it, Coach, because this is weightlifting talk, and we're being honest here, okay? Now, I was a very preppy. I wore a lot of, in college, I was a lot of Abercrombie. I had my hair spiked, wore the tight shirts to show off the guns, the flip-flops with the khaki shorts. I was very preppy, so I threw people off. I had a few buddies on the football team. We went to the mall, and they were all getting grills. And they're like, North, you want a grill? I got some extra money from, my loan check or something. And I was like, yeah. I drove an hour out here. I would love a grill. So I rocked a grill, front and bottom. It was silver. I wish I would have got gold. But I threw people off because here I am, this preppy Abercrombie kid, as preppy as can be. But then right when I smiled and started talking, I had this grill in my mouth. So it was kind of a shock value thing. It was more of a joke. Come on now.
So basically what you're trying to say is you were a giant douchebag.
Oh, well, actually, yeah, that's, to be honest.
I mean, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Back then, yeah, for sure. But I have to admit, if I still had it today because I lost it, I would wear it. I would wear it for training just to mess with you, Coach. I'd put a Little Wayne on and wear the grill.
Why don't you take your call?
All right, let me take this phone call right here. 630. There.
Hello?
All right, we had pretty bad reception. But I wanted to start this morning show off. First of all, I'm jacked up. There's something about the morning, the early morning, Coach, 9 o'clock, the crack of dawn, that I have more energy early morning when I have to get myself out of bed earlier. The sun's rising. I'm at Starbucks getting Miss Brown Eyes. I got just an extra pep in my step. I don't know what it is.
Maybe we should start just having training at 8 o'clock and take advantage of that, John.
I have to actually admit, even though my teammates might get mad at me for saying this, but I actually might agree with you. I do better early morning. Right around 10, 11, before the afternoon hits is when I'm the most tired, even if I just wake up. I don't know what it is. Maybe there's a scientist on the show that can call in that knows how the body works during sleep. But I remember even in my football days, we had training at 6 o'clock in the morning. We'd all go in there, and our coach would be standing outside the door looking at his watch, and if you were a minute late, he would shut the door on your face, and you had to run the bear trail afterwards. But I was always there, 6 o'clock on the dot, ready to go with this weird energy, without even energy drinks nor coffee. Just early morning, you have this, maybe it's the shock value. You wake up early, you're confused about life because you have no idea where the hell you are because you just got out of a deep dream. And you're like, I got to get the hell up and get some shit happening. So, I don't know. I'm a little jacked up right now. I like morning, but I wanted to start the show off today, Coach, by talking. You want to talk about some interesting stuff. Programming. A lot of questions on programming. And who better to talk about programming than Mr. Blackbeard? And I'm just going to sit next to him and drink coffee and pretty much agree with everything he says. Maybe not. I'll throw my 2 cents in. This is not my special time. Is that a French word? Special time.
No,
that's not a word? Okay. Specialty. For some reason, I wanted to say it in a French way or something. But I did want to start the show off before Coach goes off on his expertise of programming, which makes us very strong, you sons of bitches. I want to talk about being strong because I named the show Strong. And for all the listeners out there, you could definitely get what I'm saying right now. Being strong is awesome. It really, truly is. There's a feeling that you have after training or throughout the week, just walking around Target by all the civilians shopping for milk. And you feel like a badass. It's a much better high than the pump you get in bodybuilding, being strong. And right now I feel like I'm getting strong. You know why? Because we're on a crazy squat cycle right now. And even, am I sore? Yes. Am I beat to bloody hell? Yes. Can I barely walk? Yes. But for some reason, even though I'm beat to hell, I feel super strong. It's funny how that works. You think it would be the exact opposite. The harder I train, the more hell I go through, the more workouts we do, the more squats we do, the stronger I feel. And that is so weird. And maybe this is perfect because this will transfer right into programming and really how this works. But you would think it would be the exact opposite. The less that I train, if because I've been injured the last, 2 or 3 weeks. And, I would feel better, so I would train like 2 to 3 days a week. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, I've taken a few days off, because of my injury. Boy, I bet that I'm recovered and rested. I'm going to hit some big weight. But no, it's the exact opposite. I'm weaker than shit. I can barely hit any numbers. I feel awful. After a workout, I'm sore as hell, more sore than I am now. It's just funny how that works, Coach. But there's something about being strong. I love it. That's what I love squats. Even though I might bitch a lot about squats, and I really do hate them, I love them. It's kind of a hate-love relationship. And they're so beneficial. It's the one assistant exercise that has so much carryover for the snatch and clean and jerk, for the great sport of weightlifting. They really, really do. That's why people ask me. I'm just going to say it now because my email is constantly blown up about this. John, why do you have such a narrow squat stance? Well, let me tell you why I have a narrow squat stance. I have a narrow squat stance because that's how I pull in the clean and snatch. The closer you are to the two lifts, the better. And in my opinion, the squats. That's why we high bar. That's why I like my feet closer together. I try to have as much carryover as possible because I'm not squatting to get strong. I am squatting to get strong in the lifts. And I think that there is a big difference in that. Before I pass the mic over to Coach talking about program, I could be wrong, but I'm squatting to get strong at the snatch, clean, and jerk, not to get strong, period. And I think that, that's why I squat with my feet so narrow. That's why, we high bar squat. That's why, I like to sit down there and bounce a few times in the hole, even when I don't have to find that rhythm. Because in the lifts, you might have to sometimes. That's why I'm a big believer in Tigger squats, front and back. But I don't know, Coach. I might be rambling right now. But I feel good this morning. I'm drunk off coffee. I do love squats because they do get you good at the lifts. And I'm ready for the Arnold in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I think.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, I'm sorry. Because I love the squat cycle you put us on. We're doing a lot of block work right now. We're doing a lot of hang stuff. All of this stuff gets you freaky strong. And the closer we get to a meet, we go a little more Bulgarian. We stick closer to the lifts, which is great. Coach always has us guessing, though. And that's what I love about it. He doesn't give us a piece of paper with a 3-week advanced program. Every time we come in, we don't know what we're going to get. We're not prepared because guess what? In a weightlifting meet, you don't know what you're going to get. You got to go into a meet numb. You got to be a robot. You got to just say, what am I doing, Coach? What's on the bar? Here's your first attempt, John. Go. Okay, Coach. Becoming a robot. Bringing me back to what I was going to write a blog on the other night, but I switched it and wrote Mike, Let the Sun In, was learning how to train is much more important than technique, in my personal opinion. Learning how to become numb. Learning not to think. Learning, here we go, guys. This is what I say that people fall out of their chairs on. Stop listening to your body. That's the one thing that upsets me. Well, my body feels this way. I feel this way. The minute you stop giving your shoulders attention, your shoulders are going to finally shut up. It's like kids. If they're whining and whining, don't listen to them. They'll finally stop. Stop giving your shoulders and your legs and your back. Stop giving them attention. They're like whiny high school kids. The minute you stop listening to them, I promise you they'll shut up. Coach, good morning.
Good morning, John. We've had, as John mentioned, we've had a ton of questions about this topic. Lots of people wonder about, our program. I think a lot of it comes from the videos. I see us doing things on videos, and they probably, just because we obviously don't put all of our training on video, kind of random on which workouts and which movements. Even when we do a workout, we may not put all the exercises on video. We may just put what I think is the most interesting, which it usually turns out that people want to see the squats, which is what I think is the most boring. But still, a lot of people, especially on the YouTube comments and whatnot, are like, what's your overall program? And can you give us an idea of, the program you're following? And so I wanted to address that on the radio show. And I think the first point that I want to make is there's no magic programming, including our programming. It's not anything real magic or special as compared to a whole bunch of other programs out there. And that's, I think, a really important point. If you're snatching and you're clean and jerking and you're squatting and you're doing those exercises hard and you're pushing to make PRs, that's 90% of programming. Where people go wrong is not because they do the snatch 3 times a week instead of 4, or do the clean and jerk 4 times instead of 3, or squat twice, or squat 5 times, or all of that stuff will work. All of that stuff will work. The most important thing is to train hard. If you train hard, you're getting the majority of the benefit of any programming. And there's no one magic program that is better for everyone in all situations. I've talked a lot about this before, not on this radio show, but when I have coached in different situations, I've used slightly different programming. And why? Because it fit better. It fit that particular group of athletes for various reasons. I'll give you one example. There have been times that I had 2 or 3 lifters that were roughly at the same level, and they really got into fighting against each other. And in that type of a situation, when there's intense motivation in each training session. Say you've got 3 77-kilo lifters that are all totaling 280 kilos or 290 or whatever. Those guys are going to fight like crazy to win every training session, and nobody wants to be the last guy, the number 3 guy. In those types of situations, you can do a little bit more of a Bulgarian-type workout where you come in and max constantly. Because even on those days when they feel crappy, and they're sore and they're tired, and their regular clean and jerk is 160, and everybody's so tired, no one's going to make that. One guy does 140, one guy will kill himself to make 45, and the next guy will kill himself to make 147, and pretty soon all of them have done 150, 152, 155. Whereas in a situation where you don't have that kind of competition within the training room constantly, and people walk in sore and tired, they're not going to be able to hit numbers that close. And so you're probably better off to do a little more planning of heavier workouts and light workouts, and just knowing that the big weights aren't going to go up every single workout, and sometimes it's better just to plan and do some lighter doubles. So every training program is only really fit for the situation that it's working in. And depending on the situation, I coach a girl in Texas, that Neiman Wickline, who remained in Wichita Falls when I left. And she's training by herself because there's no team and no coaches or anything anywhere around her. And she trains in her garage. She's trained in her garage from the time she was 11 when I moved to California until now, and she's won 3 national championships back-to-back. Will hopefully make the Youth World team for this next Youth Worlds. And she doesn't max out every training session. I give her set numbers to hit every training session, and she does her best to hit those numbers, and I plan. One workout we'll try to hit bigger numbers, the next workout we'll back off a little and do some doubles and something that I think where I think she's not going to miss, and then we go back to bigger numbers. And why? Because she's 15 at this point, and she's training by herself, and so the being able to get mentally geared up when you're training by yourself and you're a 15-year-old girl and you're training in your grandma's garage is not quite as easy as when you're part of a 10 or 12 or 15-person team and you're coming into the gym with guys that are in your weight class, and that you have that intrinsic that motivation just supplied for you. So keep in mind that by explaining our program, I don't necessarily say that this is the best program for everybody in every situation. But I want to approach this in steps. And first I want to talk about squats and what we do for squats. We squat 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Right now we're squatting in our morning workout. So Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, excuse me. Right now we're squatting in the morning workout on Monday and Wednesday. And so we're doing it when we're fairly fresh. We do a higher volume workout on Monday. We normally do, right now, several of the guys are doing 3 sets of 5. A couple are doing 5 sets of 5. On Wednesday, we do front squats. A little lower volume workout, usually 3 sets of 3. Sometimes it could be 4, 5, 6 heavy singles. Front squats are a little easier to recover from, so it's an easier workout. And then on Saturday, we come in and we try to hit PRs. And usually when we start a squat cycle, we may actually do 2 or 3 sets on Saturday because the guys will be, 20 kilos below their PR. But as we go up, where we start getting somewhere near max weights, we'll switch it down to 1 set, and they'll come in on Saturday and attempt a PR. And usually that's for a set of 5. Caleb right now is doing multiple singles on Saturday, but he's attempting to PR every workout in the weight that he can use. So you have a Monday high volume, Wednesday a little easier workout using front squats, and Saturday we go for PRs. And that can encompass a variety of rep schemes, but it's all the same basic idea. We tend to use sets of 5 more than anything.
Coach, let me just say, what I like about your programming is the way that I look at it, the way that I view it, and I understand that there is so much more that goes into it, the science of it. And I remember last year, I was a barbecue at your house, and we were watching, Monday Night Football or something, and we were talking about programming. I had a lot of questions for you, and you said, you know what, John, let me go get a piece of paper and a pencil, and let me try to explain a little bit about what I'm talking about. And I was like, okay. I was very eager, of course, eyes and ears wide open. And when you started about 10 minutes into it, the piece of paper looked like the math problem in Goodwill Hunting on the chalkboard. And let me tell you something. I'm not Matt Damon. It was Spanish. And I had to stop you 10 minutes into it and say, Coach.
You're not Matt Damon? That's news to me, John.
I'm not, actually. I'm Tom Brady on a unicorn.
Teddy Roosevelt riding a moose.
Coach, I'm not done yet. Good Lord. So basically 10 minutes into it, I said, Coach, I have a headache. I have no idea what you're talking about. And Coach just kind of started laughing and saying, well, John, I haven't even got into it yet. This is just the beginning. And I said, you know what, Coach, I think I'm going to just stick to doing what you tell me, as a good athlete should. I don't almost like to know too much. But my point is the way that I look at your program, what I like about our training sessions, is I look at it as how hard can you make the snatch and clean and jerk so that when you walk up to that bar in a meet and you only have to do a single, it's easy. That's why I always say meets are easy. You're telling me all I got to do is work up and I'm done? That's easy compared to practice. We squat in the morning on Monday and Wednesday. Yeah, are we getting strong? Of course, but what else is that doing? That's making all of the snatches and the clean and jerks that we're doing after that much more difficult because our legs are tired. And if we're able to hit even okay weights with shaky, tired legs, that's a good training session. If I'm clean and jerk at 170, that feels like 200 because my legs are so damn tired. So I attack 70 like it's a PR. I love how we stick close to the list. We do a lot of assistant exercises, but they're all in. Okay,
now,
go.
John, you're getting ahead of yourself, John.
Am I getting ahead?
You're getting ahead. Let me finish the squats. I want to go one.
Agree?
I agree. Let me finish on squats, and then I'm going to go on to the exercise that we do and why we do them.
People want to hear it.
People want to hear it. Okay. One of the things that we do on squats, and there's always a balancing act when you're talking about squats. If you center your training around squats, you're doing a ton of squats. That's great for getting strong, and being strong is a very important thing in weightlifting. But you're always training the lifts in a fatigue state, and you're always down and not lifting your best weights. And what John said about being able to hit decent weights when you're tired, that's true. But on the other hand, you do sometimes want to be able to hit your best weights in training. And the way we approach the squat is we treat the time between two important meets, which for us between the American Open and the Arnold was 12 weeks. Now, if it ended up being 6 months, we might, run through two what I would consider, squat cycles. But 12 weeks about right. And what we do is we start after a meet. We start a new training cycle for the next meet. We start with the weights on squat being down. We'll start maybe 20 kilos below where we ended up last time. And then we add, a certain weight each week. And that may be 5 kilos for some people. It may be 10 kilos the first couple of weeks for somebody else. It may be as we get close to max weights, it may be only 2 or 3 kilos. But what happens is the first 6 weeks of that squat cycle, we're not squatting to the point where it's really affecting the lifts all that much. And we're able to train the lifts harder and train the lifts heavier and do maybe a few extra strength-oriented things, but we're not dead from squats. Now, at about the halfway point, we're not, John. We shouldn't be. You're dead because you're injured and out of shape, but you shouldn't. Well, you shouldn't be dead. You're going to be tired, sure, but I'm talking on a continuum. You're not going to be as dead as you will be later. And usually about halfway through the training cycle, we're up to challenging max weights on squats. And at that point, the squats are heavy enough and hard enough that they are going to interfere with the rest of your training. You're going to walk in and be trying to clean and jerk with really tired legs. And your weights may be down a little bit. But we will push and push and push for PRs, and the weights will be very heavy, and squats, making those PRs on squats are really the most important thing that we're doing, and everything else kind of takes a back seat to that. And that usually goes on 3-4 weeks until people hit a wall. And you may have maybe got up to 5 kilos, maybe 10 kilos, maybe only 2 or 3 kilos more than you did last training cycle, but you PR your squats. It's very important to me that the guys each PR their squats every training cycle. The less experienced lifters are going to make bigger PRs. The more experienced lifters like John that have been in it for 5 or 6 years are going to make smaller PRs. But I think it's very important to really resolve to PR your squats every training cycle. And usually sometime between 9 and 10 weeks into the training cycle, we've hit a wall on squats. And at that point, we back off the squats. In the last 2-3 weeks before the meet, we back off of the squats. And the recovery happens, the energy returns, the snatch and clean and jerk numbers start to go back up. And so in that way, we kind of cycle what is consuming the major part of our energy. So that early in the training cycle, we have more energy for snatch, clean, and jerk exercises. We're more likely to make PRs. For 3 or 4 weeks there in the middle of the training cycle, we're pushing our squats harder than anything else. And, you can expect maybe to make fewer PRs on snatch, clean, and jerk movements because you're going to be doing those exercises with your legs and your hips and your back sore and tired from squats. And then towards the end of the training cycle, the squats start to go away as far as the real intensity. And we're hopefully back to making bigger weights and hopefully PRs on the snatch, clean, and jerk. But I think the only real way to approach balancing out squats and competitive lifts is to kind of go in waves. And when the squats are heavier and harder, take more out of you, snatch, clean, and jerk is going to be down. When you back off the squats, the snatch, clean, and jerk will be up. And so each training cycle we go through, we kind of follow that guideline. There's definitely times when I'm more interested in the guys PR in the squats, and there's definitely other times when the squats aren't quite at maximum and I'm more interested in PR in the snatch, clean, and jerk. So, John, that's about all I had to say about squats. What do you recognize that? I mean, have you recognized going through the training program time and, we're maybe sets of 15, 20 kilos below what you've done before, you're not quite as tired. And then we get into the period like we are right now where we're pushing maximum on our sets of 5 on the squat. You're going to be more tired for clean and jerk.
Well, yeah, Coach, I see it. I feel it. And this brings me back to a point I make all the time. As an athlete, I have stopped trying to figure out this sport. And I just listen to my coach. And because I know, just like yesterday when I hit my 3 sets of 5 at 215, they were much easier than 210 last week. Why? I have no idea. Coach probably does. Why one day I can snatch 160, 2 later a lot of recovery, and train hard. I could barely snatch 140. Why? I have no fucking idea. 6 years of beating my head against the white padded wall. I have learned to shut the mind off. It makes no sense. That's why every time I come into the training hall, I say, I'm just going to give it my all. I'm going to pull like I'm ripping the head off a lion. I'm going to go underweight even if it kills me. I'm gonna jerk with all the might in the world, and I'm going to squat with everything I have. Some workouts go bad, some go good. Sometimes you hit that wall where you're stuck at a weight for a few weeks. I mean, as a beginner right now, if you're still trying to snatch 100 pounds and you've been around that for a while, well, guess what? That's called a wall, and even advanced lifters like myself and others in the country, we hit the same wall.
Well, let's hope as far as easy workout. Saturday you're going to do 220 for 3 sets of 5. And if you can make that, that's the last 3 sets of 5 workout we'll do on Saturday. And in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully you'll hit 235 for 1 set of 5, and that'll be 7 kilo PR. And that'll set you up, hopefully, for a 200 kilo clean and jerk. I said several months ago, if you could do 235 for 5, I thought you could clean and jerk 200. And you did 228 for 5 on the squat about 10 weeks ago. And you clean and jerk 195 soon after that. And, another, 7-8 kilo PR in your best set of 5 on the squat should be another 5 kilos on the clean and jerk. And so, this Saturday will be a really important squat workout. Then you'll have 1 or 2 weeks of 1 set of 5 that probably won't be all the way maximal. And then you'll have a week where you'll try to hit that big PR for a set of 5. And if you can do that, I would predict big things for the Arnold, no doubt. Yeah. A huge PR clean and jerk, I think. But that's the way we do our squats. That's the specific way we do it, and that's also, I think, the broad plan that we follow. And the exact sets and reps, I think the 3 sets of 5 on Monday, the 3 sets of 3 on Wednesday, and the going for something maximal on Saturday to try to break a PR is a good template. But the exact reps aren't all that important. We do have some guys that do more sets. We have some that do less. We have a couple guys that are doing singles on Saturday instead of sets of 5. So we have a template. We have reps that we follow, but we also aren't afraid to change it if a certain lifter warrants it. But that's it about squats. It's a good squat program. It's pretty result producing. I've had good luck with it with literally hundreds of athletes, and we do some different things once in a while. We always come back to that because it just seems to work.
Yeah, and I really like. Is what the famous Donnie Schenkel says is the no comfort zones and learning how to react when you have to, when you must. When there's a bear in the woods and it's about to attack you, you got to sprint full speed. And just a perfect example of last Sunday at the 26th Attitude Nation certification in New Jersey or in Long Island. I'm sorry. They say, hey, John, will you lift? And I say, well, I squatted Saturday. I'm pretty beat to hell right now. But, yeah, of course, let's slap the shoes on and let's see what I got. And I ended up hitting, 159 snatch, 182 clean and jerk. Does the atmosphere help? Of course. But, was I supposed to lift on Sunday? No, Sunday's my day off. But the bear was in the woods, and I had to react. And that's no comfort zones. And that's what I think a good training program has, those if I was doing that all the time or, coming in the gym at night on a Monday after training and doing that, coach would be like, hey, John, come on now, stop doing that. But wiggle room and not putting the ceiling over the athlete's head as well and having, if they're feeling good that day, let's keep going up. I think it's important to, at the end of the day, have fun with training and not make it such a math problem and not make it too strict,
Well, I totally agree with that. I will say this, no matter what the plan is, if you can make a PR that day, make it. I don't care if it's a light day. I don't care. Yeah, well, we have some days where we don't go to max, but the fact of the matter is, if you walk in the gym on Thursday morning and you're supposed to have a light workout and rest up for maxing out on Friday, and you start power snatching and you think, my God, I can pull that bar today, and things are going right, well, let's make a PR on power snatch. Whenever you've got the chance to make a PR, I want you to make it. That's part and parcel of our training program, because nobody can figure out exactly how your body's going to react. Nobody can predict you're going to be tired this day, you're going to be feeling good this day. Yeah, you can predict it, 75% of the time, enough to create a training program. But there's always going to be those days when you're supposed to feel good and you feel like shit and you can't lift anything. And when that happens, you got to roll with it. One of the things I've told John a lot is, when you are having a terrible day and you can only snatch 140, eking out 145 is just every bit as important as when you're having a great day and you snatch 155 and you somehow eke out 160. Yeah. Making heavier weights than you think you can on your bad days is a very important part of training.
Well, and that's another reason why I'm not a humongous fan of percentage training programs, because I don't think it's about the numbers. And that's what it brings me back to my point at the beginning of the show about, I think learning how to train is more important than, technique. And we lost that caller. Give us a call back. It's not. Stop thinking about the numbers so much and think about going in and completing the workout, giving it your all, giving it 100%. And you can never give 100% of a workout with an 80% snatch, in my opinion. Give it your all every time you step in the gym, no matter what you hit, PR or no PR. Finish the workout until you're puking after training, and then go home and eat. And let me tell you something. Weightlifting is a numbers game. It's like asking 100 girls for their phone number. One's going to say yes. Just keep training, and one day, it just takes one time for your body or some magical galaxy in the weightlifting world galaxy that things connect, and all of a sudden you're smoking weights. That could be one day, that could last for 2 weeks, that could carry over into a weightlifting meet. I know Coach is sitting there going, John, what the hell are you talking about? And I think this is an interesting show because you're getting the athlete's perspective. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I mean, we're talking about programming and how the body works. I'm more lost than a puppy right now. But I'm just giving you my honest opinion of how I view it and how Coach, a guy that has it all planned out, all the science and all that planned out, and then an athlete that's lost and confused, which, in my opinion, an athlete should be.
I want to talk a little bit about the exercises that we do for snatch, clean, and jerk and why we do them. We use, as anybody that watches our videos know, a variety of. Let's just go with the snatch, because it's easier to just talk about one lift. And everything I say about the snatch applies also to the clean and jerk. But we do a variety of exercise. We do snatch off from a deficit, meaning we stand on an elevated platform, usually a couple inches high, so that the pull is actually longer than it usually is with a snatch. We snatch on blocks below the knee. We snatch on blocks at basically mid-shin, like a 6-inch block. We snatch off a high block that is up above the knee. We do hang snatches from below the knee. We do hang snatches from above the knee. We do snatches with pauses. Right below the knee is the one we normally use, although sometimes we'll pause right off the floor, where the bar should be like an inch off the floor for a 2-second pause, bring it to below the knee for another pause. We do a variety of, and we also do power snatches. We do no-hook grip snatches. We do a variety of things. And there's really a couple of different reasons for that. One of them is purely psychological. If all you ever do is snatch, you are going to make a PR very rarely. On the other hand, if you have 5, 6, 7 exercises that you use, you are going to be able to make PRs 5, 6, or 7 times as often. And that leads to more motivation in the gym. You're always going to be more motivated when you are halfway through your snatching and you feel like you can make a PR. And if you do a variety of exercises, that's going to put you right at or close to or breaking PRs that much more often. And there's a lot. John, you know this. When people are making PRs, it doesn't matter if it's on power snatch, if it's on snatch, if it's on snatch from a deficit. When people are making PRs, the whole attitude in the gym is more upbeat. Everyone's more excited. Everyone's got a more of a positive attitude. And the mental attitude is a huge thing in training. You're way more likely to lift more and to do a more useful workout if you've got a positive attitude. And doing a wider variety of exercises definitely allows that to happen much more often. There's another aspect there, and this has to do with motor learning. And there's a lot of research on motor learning and fine motor skills and gross motor skills. And by gross, John, I don't mean like throw up in your bed. I mean large motor skills.
Like gross income.
Like gross income, sort of. You're on the right track. Good job. There's a lot of research in that, and what they found, this is actually a very widely researched topic, and what they found is the more different, slightly different skills you become good at, the higher your potential for having a great skill in any one of those things is. In other words, if I'm trying to do shuffleboard, and instead of just practicing where the goal is, what is it in shuffleboard, 20 feet away, 30 feet away? If I practice to hit a marker that's 10 feet away, I practice to hit a marker that's 15 feet away, I practice to hit a marker that's 20 feet away, and I practice to hit a marker that's 25 feet away. And I become good at all those different distances. That's going to increase my potential to become very, very good at one of those distances. It's going to lead to a higher potential to become skilled at hitting any one particular distance that I choose to put extra practice time into. And so it's the same idea when it comes to the snatch or the clean and jerk. We do a variety of movements that are all slightly different, but it's still snatching. And the research would indicate that by mastering all of those movements, it raises your potential to become exceptionally good at any one of them. Another lifter way back in the 70s or the 80s, I should say, that did the same thing was Kurt White. Kurt White clean and jerked 205 as an 82 kilo lifter. Actually, the same or more than Kendrick Ferris at a lighter body weight. His records were erased when they changed the weight classes, but certainly around the 82 or 85 kilo weight class could be argued one of the best or the best American lifter ever.
I'll never get that, by the way.
There's a variety of other lifters that have done the same thing, where almost every snatch workout they either stood on a slight box, so they were lifting at a slight deficit, an inch or two. They changed their hand grip, where they put their hands an inch or two in more, an inch or two out more. They did various different things to slightly change the exercise, and there's been a lot of people successful with that. And like I said, that's one of those things that research and practical experience lends credence to. There's a lot of things that research would say this should work, but in practical experience, we know that it doesn't work. And there's other things that practical experience show us that does work, but there's no research to back it up. It's the old saying, in theory and practice are the same. In practice, they're not. You know, the research and practical experience don't always jive with each other, but in this case, I think they do. So we use those exercises both for a mental reason and a physical reason. And the third reason we do a variety of exercises is to work on a weak point. Almost every lifter has a certain part of the pull that they're the weakest at, or a certain thing about the lift that they are not as good at. For instance, Travis Cooper can pull like crazy. He's not as good at catching the bar. Caleb Whitby is very strong. He can catch the bar pretty good when it's in the right position, but he tends to put the bar either in front or behind. There's every certain lifter has a weak point, something they don't do as well as the other things during the lift. And by using a variety of exercises, you can work on those weak points. If somebody has trouble staying over the bar, you can put a pause at their knee. If they have trouble with their start position, you can have a pause at the floor, or you can start on a deficit. If somebody doesn't accelerate the bar very well from the knees up, you can go off a block, or you can go, a hang above the knee. There's all different kinds of things, and whatever each lifter is worse at, or the worst at, you can slightly modify the exercises that they use to work harder on that particular point of the lift. And so, the argument for using a variety of snatching exercises or clean and jerking exercises, I think, is pretty strong. And that's what we do. Mental reasons, physical reasons, and working on weak points. So during the week, we're going to snatch. Sure, we're going to do the actual regular competition snatch, and we're also going to do 3, 4, or even 5 different variations of the snatch. But keep in mind, each one of those variations is close enough to an actual snatch that you're still building skill in the snatch. They're still snatching. It's not like we're doing, glute ham raises, or we're doing, deadlifts, or we're doing this or that. We're doing snatching work. It's just there's slight variations. And we do that with the snatch and the clean and jerk.
Yeah, and I love that because you're staying close to home. You're staying everything that Coach has talked about. It's still the snatch and clean and jerk. You can even call them maybe even accessory exercises, but they're all snatch and clean and jerk, and I love that. One of the reasons why I love the going from the high deficit is the fact that, to touch on what Coach said, is that a few reasons. A, you're basically just swinging a weighted bat. It's harder. And anytime you can make the snatch harder, the full snatch is going to be easier. Second, positions. As far as learning technique and bettering yourself in technique, if that pull is longer, if you're going to have the bar in your hand for a longer period of time, you're going to have to hold and force yourself to stay into the correct positions, use the proper technique to get the weight over your head. So it's a great technique builder, going from the hang as well, lowering that bar down to the perfect position while you're tired and the weight's going to, wanting to, pull you down, and then going from there, from below the knee or above the knee. These are all just great tools to better yourselves in the snatch and clean and jerk, and that's what I love about this type of program. And I've been on multiple programs before. I've loved them all. I really have. But there's something about sticking close to the lifts, making the lifts harder, tiring the legs, and like Coach said, having fun and getting PRs. I've seen some people online saying, well, you guys are just throwing PRs all over the place, but they're not, substantial PRs. Well, what the fuck does that mean? Let me go on a little rant right here. When I hit 5 green lights on the way to the gym, guess what? Mother trucker that said that online, that's a PR. Every single day I PR, even outside of the gym. I PR in life. When I buy 3 gallons of milk at Target and not 2, I PR'd. When my bank account grows, I PR'd. When I buy 5 cups of coffee and drink them in a record time, I PR'd. When I hug my wife, 20 times a day instead of 19, guess what? That's a PR. Every time we do this weightlifting talk show, it's a PR because we try to make each one better. And that's what I love. It's motivation. It gives you a high. It keeps you going. It keeps you wanting to do more and more every day. Right? When I have a kid, I'm going to push him 20 times on the swing instead of 19. Boom, PR. That's why we're succeeding. That's why everybody that's listening to the show right now is succeeding. Because every single day, in or out of the gym, we try to PR. And the more PRs you get, the happier you are. It's a mindset. It's a mind game. Weightlifting is so mental. And if you can stay happy, and if you can stay motivated, and you can pat yourself on the back, because let me tell you something. Weightlifting, you don't get to pat yourself on the back that much. It's a bitch of a sport. It's the dark orchestra. It's a hellhole, especially when you stick close to the lifts. It's hard to get PRs when you're 6 years into the game. When you're 5 kilos off from the American Snatch and Clean and Jerk record, it's difficult to get PRs. And when you don't get PRs for a long amount of time, you start to get depressed. 5 green lights, PR.
I'm going to take the last 10 minutes to...
Bitch.
You're getting crazy, John. You're getting crazy. I didn't take the last...
It's a haterade people drink online.
I'm going to take the last 10 minutes and talk about our weekly plan and then our overall meet-to-meet plan. And this is all real simple. It's all real simple, and it's common sense stuff. When I start somebody out, I start them out training Monday, Wednesday, Friday. They do snatches, clean and jerks, and squats every workout. Simple. Or we may do some snatch variations or clean variations, but it's snatch, clean and jerk, and squats. And then when they start to advance a little more, we may add in a Tuesday workout. And guess what? That's a lighter workout of snatch, clean and jerk, and squats. Usually the first thing we'll start out with is adding in power snatches and power cleans. And then they may add in Saturday. And at that point, they're at 5 workouts a week. And usually at that point, we'll switch squats to Saturday because we don't want to go. Usually Friday is our day to do the actual snatch and clean and jerk, no other variation, and go the heaviest that we do all week. We want to do the squats after that, so we'll do them on Saturday. And at that point, they're going to snatch, clean, and jerk squat on Monday, some kind of snatch, clean, and jerk work on Tuesday, snatch, clean, and jerk and squat on Wednesday, snatch, clean, and jerk to maximum on Friday, and then squats and some overhead strength work like push presses or behind the neck jerks on Saturday. Simple. Then we keep adding workouts following that same template until you're training twice on Monday. Usually squats in the morning, snatch, clean, and jerk in the afternoon. So, squats and snatch, clean, and jerk lighter in the morning, and snatch, clean, and jerk heavy in the afternoon. Tuesday, snatch, clean, and jerk, usually some lighter exercises like power snatch or snatch with no hook grip or similar things for the clean. Wednesday, squats, lighter snatch, clean, and jerk in the morning, snatch, clean, and jerk heavier in the afternoon, usually using some kind of variations, maybe snatch off blocks or hang cleans or something like that. Thursday, a little bit lighter, snatch, clean, and jerk in the morning. Again, often some type of variation like a power clean or power snatch or snatch with no hook grip or snatch off high blocks or clean off high blocks, something like that. Friday, snatch, clean, and jerk in the morning, a little lighter.
Friday max out day.
Snaps Friday afternoon, max out day. Snatch, clean, and jerk max out day. Saturday, we come in and we squat first. That's our day we try to make some kind of PR on the squat. And then some kind of overhead work after that. Again, usually either push press or behind the neck jerks. And that's it. And when we're training really hard, we'll break up the afternoon workout into 2 workouts. And do an hour, even more sometimes, of snatching work, take a half an hour break, and do another hour, even up to an hour and a half or more, of clean and jerk work after that. And that is our weekly program. And it can be anywhere from 9 to 12 workouts. And it stays pretty much the same most weeks, and that's what we do. And I think it works out pretty good. It's pretty practical because it builds from a simple 3-day a week program. And anyone out there can fit themselves into that program at some point, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, all the way up to several workouts a day, like John and the guys do. You can fit yourself in somewhere, but the basic idea and the basic programming remains the same, no matter how many workouts a week you're doing. It all follows the same basic templates. It's really easy to plug yourself in and then gradually build from there. As far as the programming for a whole training cycle, we stick to that template pretty much the whole training cycle. Early in the training cycle, we may be not necessarily pushing for PRs or the same. We're going to PR if we can. We're probably not pushing with the same amount of volume or same amount of intensity the first couple of weeks after a competition and preparing for a new competition. And then once that's over, we normally are going to include some type of pulling strength exercises. A couple of years ago, we had a couple training cycles where we stuck in just a basic, just a clean grip deadlift, as heavy as can be, and John hated those. This training cycle, we did more of pulls with a pause at the knee, and we did some heavy negative pulls, which means you take something above your max, say clean, do a pull with it, and then take 10 seconds to lower it back to the ground and try to lower it back in the same movement pattern as you raised it. But some type of pulling exercises we'll include at the end of snatch and clean and jerk, and we'll do that for a few weeks, and we'll start gradually cycling off of that. And as we get towards the end of the training cycle, we will slowly start to do more actual snatches and actual clean and jerks, a little bit less of the variations, even on the Monday, Wednesday workouts. And as the squats, as we all hopefully PR our squats 5, 4, or 3 weeks out from the next meet, we'll back the squats off a little bit. And it goes from an emphasis on strength and doing some of the pulls and concentrating on squats to more of an emphasis on snatch, clean, and jerk and going as heavy as you can. And we'll go with that right up into the meet. The last 2 weeks before a competition, we'll slowly start lowering volume. Normally in our workouts, we do, if we do on the snatch, say on a Wednesday afternoon, and we do, say, a high pull plus a snatch from below the knee and go up to max on that, then we'll pick a different exercise like, yesterday, a doubles from above the knee, and we'll do multiple doubles with that second exercise, and that would be the snatching for the day. As we get closer in the last 2 weeks of the meet, we'll cut out the doubles, so we'll concentrate more on making a PR or making a max for the day and do not so much volume afterwards. And we stick with lifting heavy really right up until the Wednesday before the competition. So up until about 3 or 4 days before the competition, we stick with lifting heavy. But we gradually cut out the volume, and everybody gets fresh and rested and feels good. And that sounds really simple. It is really simple. The best training plans, I think, are always simple. And it's a very logical sequence of concentrating on more on strength and then gradually.
But what you're saying is simple. But what you're saying is I guess simple. But why we're doing it is so complicated, and I just want to say that, especially when Coach, why we're doing it, and how the body reacts to it, and what kind of state we must put the body in. And when it was like the thing with Goodwill Hunting, when Coach tried to explain it to me, we got 5 minutes into it, and I said, "Whoa, I'm out of here." I do want to sit down again with Coach, and we have before, to learn more about this, because I want to always want to learn more. And programming for me is something I lack. And if I want to be a full-time coach, I'm going to need to learn that. Sorry, Coach, to interrupt you, but I want to make that clear.
Well, going into some of the things, why a certain training program works or why peaking for a contest works a certain way, it really goes into physiology and the hormones of the body and things like that. But really the important thing is just what you're doing in the gym. And to tell you the truth, trying to peak for a contest is probably the most complicated thing, because you're trying, it's relatively easy to say, okay, I have 6 weeks to make a PR. I'm going to try 3 times a week, and hopefully at some point during the 6 weeks I'm going to be strong and make a PR. That's relatively easy, but trying to assure that you are your strongest on the day of competition becomes a little more difficult, and that's where, some of the difficulty in programming arises. But that's really, being at your best on a certain day in weightlifting. If you look at it from a 5, 6, 10-year perspective, that's less important than just continually making progress. And that's, for most lifters out there that aren't trying to break an American record or trying to make the world team, the most important thing is just they make continual progress. They're going to have some good meets and they're going to have some bad meets. But by the time you get 6, 7, 8 years into it, where you are trying to make the world team or something like that, you're going to have some experience to draw on. And you're going to know how your body reacts a little bit, and you're going to have just try to make sure that you're ready on the given day.
Yeah, I think that this goes right back to what I opened with by saying just train, because there's more than one way to get to the top of the hill with technique and programming. Do I think that my technique and Glenn's programming is the best? Of course, absolutely. But I think Coach said it, or not Coach said it best. It's a famous quote of, and we've said this before on the show, that believing in the worst program. Well, Coach, grab the mic. I forgot how it went.
I believe the quote went like this: if you have the worst program in the world, but you believe in it 100% and put forth 100% effort, that is going to be better than having the best program in the world and not believing in it and not putting in 100% effort. So yeah, there's something to that. We can get as complicated as you can possibly get and talk about, programming, but in reality, working hard and believing in what you're doing probably trumps everything else.
Definitely. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, on Weightlifting Talk today. Sorry about the beginning technical difficulties. Yes, it's my birthday today. I'm getting old. I just turned 18. But we'll be back. We'll be back Thursday, regular time at 1 o'clock. Attitude Nation salute. Slam bars, kill PRs. Train hard. No rest days. And we'll see you guys back. Thanks for listening.